Dear viewers, the topic which we will discuss today is why Pakistan is under trial and error in the last 75 years. So 75 years have passed since the creation of Pakistan. But the process of trial and error is still continuing. It basically means a situation in which there are experiments, all sorts of experiments since the inception of Pakistan. Parliamentary form of government, presidential form of government, military form of government, authoritarian rule, dictatorial, things like that. And that trial of error has cost Pakistan. Its past, its present, and will deeply impact as far as future is concerned. There are a couple of things which we need to understand about this trial and error. That Pakistan has failed to learn lessons from its past. It has failed to learn lessons that why Pakistan was not able to transform the vision of its founder, that is Khaja Muhammad Ali Jinnah, into a reality. Because Jinnah wanted a democratic, Islamic and welfare state of Pakistan. It has not happened. Neither democratic nor Islamic or welfare. What has happened is that because of trial and error, that so far, that is since August 14, 1947, August 1947 till today, there have been 19 prime ministers in Pakistan. And no prime minister of Pakistan has been able to complete his or her term. This is so unfortunate. No lessons have been learned. And therefore, the political process got derailed. Democracy was a victim. And there are a couple of reasons as far as this trial and error thing. The first is the leadership, the predicament of leadership, Pakistani leadership. That Pakistan is still under a feudal tribal mode. It has not been able to settle down as a nation state. And therefore, political process which should have ensured democracy, rule of law, good governance, that has not happened. The second thing about trial and error is that the leadership Pakistan, which unlike its founder Khaja Muhammad Jinnah, is neither visionary nor honest or hardworking or intelligent. That leadership in the recent past, not of course recent past as such, in several decades has been more interested in loot and plunder, has been involved as far as ill-gotten money is concerned, protecting its ill-gotten money. Genocide of the culture of merit, absence of the rule of law, lack of accountability. And then that leadership has failed to provide good quality of life to its people. Lack of clean and safe drinking water, health and educational facilities. And as far as protecting environment is concerned, to deal with the threats of climate change, dealing with the menace of extremism, violence, radicalization of youth, intolerance and terrorism. And again trial and error. That Pakistan got itself involved in Afghan Jihad 40 years ago and paid a heavy price. No trial and error. Although they said that we will never ever interfere in the affairs of Afghanistan, it has not happened. 9/11 took place. So that is something, no lessons were learned as far as the debacle of Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, that how Jammu and Kashmir was lost to India. No lessons were learned from the 1965 war, from 1971 war, from the Kargil war. Trial and error. So nations are not created just by trial and error. Trial and error is basically a short-term phenomena. it cannot endure for an endless period of time. But for Pakistan, the problem is that every time there's a crisis, for example, the current economic crisis, that Pakistan's economy is basically on dole, on borrowed money, asking the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Asian Development Bank, other multilateral agencies from friendly countries like China, Saudi Arabia, UAE and so forth. That is not the way. So trial and error, had it worked, had the economic managers of Pakistan, had the political leaders of Pakistan, had the military of Pakistan learned lessons and settled on one thing, that we will not compromise as far as fundamental issues are concerned. And the fundamental issues being, number one, good governance, rule of law, accountability, improving the quality of life of people, and then transforming Pakistan from a national security state to a welfare state. That has not happened. Every government embarked on trial and error. Every government, when a regime change took place, that regime which took power wanted to undo the policies of the previous regime. That has caused havoc as far as the economy of Pakistan is concerned, the politics of Pakistan is concerned. So I would conclude by saying that enough is enough, that in 75 years history of Pakistan, one should not go for trial and error anymore. And there must be a firm policy framework in place. And that policy framework needs to concentrate on a couple of things. The first, economy. No compromise as far as the economy is concerned. Political stability, good governance, rule of law, accountability. And then it should not matter as far as this government or that government is concerned. There was a time, like 5 decades ago or 6 decades ago, that Pakistan was a role model. 6 decades ago, role model. And then it used to have its 5-year plans. First 5-year plan, second 5-year plan, third 5-year plan, not anymore. So therefore, I would say that Pakistan must not end itself as a state which is always venturing, always embarking on trial and error and finding scapegoats, or to blame, every government blames another government, past government. Thank you very much.